Let's talk about weight bearing on your hands. One of the features of the way that postural yoga is often taught, so the practice of yoga poses or yoga asana, is that we spend a lot more time than we do in our daily lives weight bearing on our hands. And we see that anywhere from a tabletop or plank pose to downward facing dog to back bends like cobra and upward facing dog to poses like handstands and arm balances and all kinds of places, right? Really, really common in the way that postural yoga is often taught. And it can be really, really hard for some people. It can trigger numbness or pain or other discomfort in the hands, wrists, or up the chain through the arm, right? And it can be difficult to know if you're struggling with weight bearing on your hands, how do you get better at doing that? And so the first thing to look at is what is going on with your hand itself as it's relating to the ground beneath it. If you look at the palm of your hand, you might be able to see that there's some natural arch shapes here. And just like we have arches in our feet, we have arches in our hands that can help us to be better at supporting and distributing the weight of our body when we have the hands down on the ground. These pads here at the base of the fingers and the root of the thumb here, and then the outer edge of the palm and the base of the palm will come into contact with the floor when you bring the hand down. And then the question becomes, are you able to lift up more through the center of the palm to create this shape here that's a little bit like the center of a suction cup, right? One thing you might notice is that your ability to lift up through the center of the palm changes depending on whether you're able to kind of draw these points in towards each other or not. And one thing that can really affect that is how wide we spread the fingers. So we'll sometimes hear this cue to spread the fingers wide. And when we do that, especially to an extreme, what can happen is we can start to get flattening through this area here. It can get a lot harder to engage and lift through the center of the palm. And so what I like to do here is bring the fingers more in line with the hand bones as much as is comfortable and works for you. And then with the fingers more in line with the bones to see if you can then start to lift up here through the center of the palm. You can try this in the air. If you can't do it in the air, it's going to be impossible probably to do it with weight down into the hands on the floor. So seeing if you can find that engagement and lifting up through the center of your palm. Another place I like to play with this is bringing the hands together into what's sometimes called Anjali Mudra, right, or prayer hands. And then to really feel all of those points of contact all the way around the outside of the palm. To feel the finger pads and the thumb in contact with each other. And then if you press into all those contact points, press the fingertips towards each other, keeping the fingers in line with the hand bones. You might see if you're able to lift the centers of the palms away from each other and even get that suction cup feeling here. Then what you could do is you could bring your hands to a wall. If you have a wall that is in front of you, bring your hands up to the wall and see if you then can mimic that sensation on the wall. Maybe pressing the finger pads in a little bit, maybe feeling like you're drawing the roots of the pinky finger and index finger towards each other, and as well the base of the thumb, and to see if you can get that lifting up. That's a really good way to explore the mechanics and to start to work on what it would feel like to get that drawing up sensation through your palm. There's a lot more we can say about that, but let's end there for today. Have fun exploring this, and I would really love to hear what it is that you discover.